Blog Talk Radio.
You tuned in to Hype Talk Radio, the voice of the Midwest.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Hype Radio, hosted by Taj Longino. Check out this interview and all the other interviews. You know what to do. Go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/GoGetItTV, or go to GetHypeOnline.com. On the line with us right now, man, is one of the most respected individuals in the arts and entertainment community, publisher of Conversations Magazine, executive producer of Conversations Live Radio, and the president of Hip Hop Books and Literacy Campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cyrus Webb.
Hey, how's it going, Taj?
I'm doing fine, sir. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on our show, man, and we appreciate it very much.
Oh, no problem. Glad to do it.
I just watched your interview with C. Murder with his book, Death Around the Corner, and I know that you have ties to a lot of books in the hip-hop community. Am I correct?
Right. That's been one of the things, man, I think that's been so great about the power of words, Taj, is that it really bridges so many different worlds together. I mean, in what other world would I have been able to get in contact with C. Murder if it had not been for books? So I'm just really blessed, man. He came out with a great book, Death Around the Corner, had a lot of success with it, and I was glad to be able to get that exclusive interview with him.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of people misunderstand hip-hop artists when they go outside of their realm of what their music perceives them to be, and when they start going outside their realm of that and doing other things, people kind of, they don't understand all the time how to take it, but they don't understand, too, as well. It's more than one way to get a message out.
Right. And I totally agree with that. I have to say, Taj, that, before I actually read the book by C. Murder, I had already prejudged in my mind who he was. I did not grow up listening to hip-hop, and so when his book was initially, and I told him the same story, that when his book was initially, talked to me about, I really dismissed it and said, what does he have to say that I would be interested in? But a good friend of mine who I really respect in the literary world said, Cyrus, you really need to read this book. And I've read it now 5 times, and everywhere I go, I tell people you need to read this book. So it was a pleasure, Taj, to be able not only to introduce C. He also entrusted me with the responsibility of coordinating his tour with the book. And so it was a lot of fun to see the reactions of all the different kinds of people from all different backgrounds, be able to, if they cannot relate to his music, can relate to the message he gives in Death Around the Corner.
What stuck out to you in Death Around the Corner that changed your mind on what you thought about C. Murder as a person and of course, as a book writer?
I think the thing that changed my mind the most was how real the story was. I think no matter what your background, and this is what I think resonated with me, I did not know a lot about the Kellyo Projects or the life even that C had to deal with. But I think reading the book and seeing the relationships in the book, the main character, Daquan, was very close to his grandmother. His grandmother raised him. My grandmother raised me. So that was an instant connection that I could relate to. Daquan did not have people to really instruct him in the ways of the world, so he learned a lot of things by trial and error. I could relate to that. And I think the message at the end of the day of the book was we all are given the choice, and it's okay to make choices as long as you can live with the consequences. And that's what Daquan had to do, and I think that's something that everybody, no matter, where they live or where they're from, that's one of the things that they could see in their own lives as well.
What do you have going on at this point? I know you're involved in a lot of things. What are you working on right now that you would like the listeners and the fans to know about?
I think, Taj, the main thing right now is, we were very privileged with Conversations Book Club. We now have 10 chapters in 4 states in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Tennessee. But this year, we're really excited about our brand new project. I've been very fortunate to executive produce America's first literary reality show. It's called The Right Stuff. We actually will be debuting on CW networks in over 44 states this summer on the CW network. And the show, Taj, is America's first show that takes aspiring writers and allows them to compete for a one-book deal and $1,000 in prizes to be able to achieve their dream of being the next big thing in publishing. We have authors that we're working with from all different genres, including hip-hop, who've written street lit, who's, have appeared everywhere from, selling their books out of their cars on the streets to being New York Times best-selling authors that are working with us on this project. So I think that's the thing that's I'm really pushing right now. We finished taping. We wrap up taping the end of April. We're working with a lot of people, even in the hip-hop community. We have former Bad Boy recording artist Mark Curry, who's written a terrific book called Dancing with the Devil. He is one of our celebrity judges for the show. We have John Boy from VH1's The White Rapper Show. He's one of our guest judges. We have Derek Hargrove and Nikki Shawani from the MTV show 50 Cent, The Money and the Power. They're working with us. Just a host of people, man, from all different backgrounds, all to show the characters that, it's not just about your dream, but being able to fulfill that dream. And we want people at home to be able to watch the show and say, you know what, I may not want to be a writer, but whatever I want to do in my life, this show is, showing me that if I really put my mind to it, I can achieve it. And that's what we want to do at the end of the day. And then, of course, encourage reading along the way, too.
Now, that's the reality show. I actually, are you guys airing commercials for that right now? Because I believe I saw that on.
We are.
Okay, I did see it then. Okay, yeah, we did see that. Now, speaking of the 50 Cent reality TV show, were you over that as well?
No, I wasn't over it, but I've been real privileged, man, with Conversations Live. I worked with MTV in actually getting exclusive interviews with the cast. Now, that was my only relation to the actual show at the time. Now, I guess for full disclosure, I have to say that my publicity company, Shadowplay Entertainment, we actually do represent Derek and Nikki, so they are clients of mine as well. But I did not know them prior to the show. We actually met after, I interviewed them, and we just kept in contact, and now, I'm working with them, on other things. But other than that connection, I wasn't involved in the 50 Cent show.
Okay, yeah, because the show it didn't stay on too long.
And that surprised me, and I'm glad you mentioned that. If I could say one thing about that, Taj, I think part of the problem with our community, and I say our community meaning with the black community, is that sometimes we pigeonhole people and we expect them to fit a certain box. I actually thought the 50 Cent show was very good. The lessons that it learned, at first, when I first watched the first episode, we had the two teams chain gang together to get to their, where they're going to be staying. I first thought, what does that have to do with business? But then I got to thinking, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And that was literally showing us how your weakest link can bring you down and lead you to disaster. And I looked at the different lessons. I continued to watch the show even after MTV pulled it, and it then went to MTV2, and then of course available online. And to me, that was a different side of 50. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Taj, I think that was the problem. It showed a side of 50 that showed that he cared about people, that he wanted to help other people, and I don't think that was accepted by a lot of people. And I believe that's why the show was pulled.
And if I want to respond to that by saying I believe that's because 50 puts on an image that he wants people to perceive and believe, and then once he tries to alter that image, just like in hip hop, once you go from if you're a gangster rapper for your first 5 albums and then you alter that to be something else, people they're not going to buy into that. They're going to turn away from you because they're so used to a certain image of you. Now you're giving them an alter ego.
Right.
And now they're not. So 50 has, when he first went, all the way from the moment he came into the game until now, he has been known to be heartless, all the characteristics that people have given him and how he goes about doing his day-to-day, business in hip-hop as far as the thing that he's trying to create. So when he comes out with this reality show, even when I first saw it, I was like, reality show? 50? That's what 50 doing. What is he doing now? I said, oh, man, what I said was he need to cut it out. You got money, I didn't know how to take it because I'm like, 50 and reality didn't go together to me. Right. And when I saw it, 50 has, sometimes he can be a tad bit, he can go a little overboard. When I saw how he was talking to some of them, even with the Diddy making the band, I was like, man, they go to it. I said, man, they really are talking to me. I said, well, hey, maybe that's just how maybe that's how it's supposed to go. And I think that's what probably turned people off, is that they probably thought it was just another 50 publicity thing. You know what I mean? I didn't even know how to take it honestly. You know,
Yeah.
we're so used to a certain thing.
Yeah, but if I can say one thing about that, again, I've never interviewed